So is Juliet Lamont sharing her story about the pirates and the atrocities that she experienced when defying the IDF Navy in a war zone after they were warned repeatedly to stop. They pushed it as far as they could. The captain's handed himself in as a hero, and they're all in awe of his decision. But the beauty of that decision was that was going to take any further undue attention off them.
He's really not going to have a good time when he gets put in prison.
Wow.
And the silly part about that is nobody has a good time when they're put in prison, Juliet. Nobody. And I don't think the captain would be any different to anybody else.
Yeah, so he helped steer the boat towards the prison boat, which was specific.
I want you to take into account the repeated words being used: prison boat, torture chamber, these kind of uses of words, because it highlights the fiction behind, or the fictionalized thinking of this woman. All right, because before they got there, the IDF was incriminated in their minds before they got there. Now, just say, for instance, a Palestinian one-engine little gunship went out and started blowing them to bits. Guess who'd they be ringing up? Not Palestine. They'd be ringing up the IDF to come and help them. And that's why the IDF couldn't be bothered with these people, because as soon as they hit land, they would have been raided by Palestinians, stripped of everything they had, probably raped and killed, and left for dead.
Specifically designed and customised to be a prison for the humanitarians.
Yeah.
Now, she's making that up, you know. That's not real. She's making that up.
What did the prison boat look like? What was the environment?
Now, the Muslim interviewer, is going along with it 100%, because this is going to incriminate the Israelis.
It's huge, it's monstrous, it's grey, it's about 70 metres.
Oh, it's actually a naval destroyer.
Long. It has, a lot of weaponry on it. It's probably the most ominous thing that I've ever seen.
I've just flown a yacht into a war zone and I'm getting put on at a destroyer, and it's actually one of the most ominous things I've ever... Juliet, for goodness sake.
My life.
Wow. Yep.
We were taken to that at high speed. It probably took about 35 minutes to get there.
Yeah, which you don't want to be on the ocean too long in the middle of a warship. Now, she's just said they went at high speed. It took 35 minutes to get to port, right?
Because we were at the front of the boat and nobody had any harnesses on. Our medic Naufa, who is a beautiful Malaysian.
Again, we're going to piss in each other's pockets. So they're at the front of the boat, right? They got no harnesses.
Muslim doctor almost fell off the boat. So
okay, so we've gone from a prison ship, or are they heading to the prison ship? Don't let me get myself ahead of myself. No, she said they were on this boat for 35 minutes. They were at the front of the boat.
We almost had a man overboard situation. The Israeli occupation forces didn't help us with that. They seemed to think that was kind of funny.
Okay, so obviously at this point, the pirates are not going to help anyone that falls overboard. They've just gone out of their way to get them off the yacht. They obviously haven't got their hands tied behind their backs at this point, because they're on the front of a boat, ready to fly out of it.
that one of us would fall off the boat. And then even being able to be transferred to the prison boat was a really dangerous thing because you're in a Zodiac and there's
Okay, so they're in a Zodiac. I get it.
a lot of wash, and it's just a really hectic situation, and there's a kind of a ladder that is on the side of the prison boat, and you kind of
The prison boat. Can you, viewers, this is so far-fetched, it's not funny.
of launched onto that and then dragged up.
Yep.
Not pulled up, you're dragged up.
And kind of each level of soldier or naval expert has a different uniform. So you go from sort of the khaki ones with the machine guns
Oh, they're just the bottom dwellers.
on our boat to then the grey uniforms, and they're larger and
And they're more scary.
they're more muscular and their weaponry, look more menacing, and they wear they all wear balaclavas.
Yep.
They're just like Hamas and all the Muslim women in burqas.
Which, when you think about it, if they were doing something that was correct, why are they trying to hide their identities?
Yeah.
So
Well, probably the same reason why all of you threw your phones overboard, Juliet.
they know that when the war crimes come, when The Hague starts to charge them with war crimes, they obviously don't want to be identified.
Yeah.
So
There's not going to be war crimes and all this rubbish. It's not going to happen. I mean, this is like she ought to give George Lucas a ring. Give George Lucas or Stevens. Who's that really good movie maker? He makes those horror. She wants to give one of those guys a ring because she would be a good filmmaker. There's no doubt about it.
you do, you know that they know that this is not the right thing to do.
Absolutely. Do you think there was a top-down decision to make that experience as horrific as possible for the flotilla members so that no one would come back? And do you
And now you've got the Muslim interviewer. She's going to feed. She's gone, I've got an easy one here. Watch this. I'll run the narrative for her.
think it actually worked?
I don't think it worked. I think that the thing that the Israeli regime doesn't understand is that the Palestinian word sumud, which is resilience, is something that the 430 ordinary people that were forced to be on that flotilla because their governments were failing them.
Oh, they were viewers. Oh my God. They were forced to be on the flotilla. It wasn't voluntary, right? By conscience, they were forced on the flotilla because the Australian governments and that had failed them. If I remember rightly, Penny Wong sent $20 million over to UNRWA to support Hamas. And then another 40 on top of that to support Hamas.
Feel more deeply than they did before they set sail. That we realise that being in solidarity with a really vulnerable population who the Israelis are hell-bent on the complete erasure of, everyone would go back in a heartbeat.
Now, she's had to throw in that Israel wants the erasure of Palestine. Palestine's a little blip on the map in comparison to Iran and Lebanon. If Israel wanted to do a genocide on Palestine, that would have been done in the first week. I mean, oh my God.
I just don't think that they understand what solidarity means. I don't think they understand what love means. And in a way, that's to their detriment. It really is, because their propaganda and their violence and their brutality.
Okay, so is she talking about Israel?
And their use of rape as a weapon of war and genocide really will be their downfall.
No, it won't. It won't be, because she's not. She is absolutely got to be lying. Because the guys in those navies, they're accountable. So when the Muslim woman said, do you think these instructions come from the top down? This woman's bought into that narrative and is making out that there's no accountability for Israeli soldiers. That's a load of crap. Just like they wouldn't... I'm telling you right now, there's more accountability for Israeli soldiers than what there is Australian ones. And we've got our greatest war hero on trial. So if you can believe this, you're just a radical ideologist like she is.
And
Because I can tell you right now, as an Ayoub, a Lebanese person, she wouldn't last 5 minutes in Palestine. She would not last 5 minutes unprotected in Palestine.
That's actually incredible. To go through that trauma and that difficulty and then still have the passion to want to say, I'll do this again for them is truly incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just don't...
Okay, so the interviewer's just feeding into this woman's ego, and her ego's as big as Ben-Hur.
No, I mean, my faith is love and community, and that's something that has to be acted out, and that's meaningful to me. But it's also sacrifice.
Yeah,
that's a really big part of how I feel like I need to live a meaningful life and be a good role model to my daughters.
Yeah.
Now, viewers, okay, so everything's got a destiny and a purpose and a reason, and she's talking about love in its fullness. Right, now she's chosen to direct her love towards Hamas. Right, Hamas. Now the IDF's basically said to them, you're going into a place where you won't be safe. And because she hasn't got what she's wanted, now she's going to completely demoralise and decharacterise and crucify the IDF.
And
the last time I saw the IDF dealing with people off the flotilla, Greta Thunberg was eating a ham and pickle sandwich that was given to her by the IDF, and still had the hide to sit there and say they're captive and all this.
I do feel like everyone on that flotilla also feels that very deeply now.
Yeah.
And that it will be effective in the end.
Yeah. Do you feel like you had a closer bond with the members of the flotilla when you guys returned back to Australia?
Yeah, well, the shared experience has brought us a lot closer, definitely.
Well, that's not true, because now we've got several members of the flotilla suing each other for sexual abuse within the flotilla cruise.
On the prison boat, we were able to care for each other. There was, obviously people were more traumatized than others.
Yeah.
There was a lot of panic attacks. There was a lot of really bad injuries.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we had 4 medics on the prison boat that I was on. There were 2 prison boats.
Yeah.
One of them...
Now there's 2 prison boats.
...was the President of Ireland's sister.
Yeah.
Margaret, and she was really good at taking control and advocating for medication, even though that didn't come.
Yeah.
We were...
Of course they didn't get... Oh, my God. Viewers, this is absolute propaganda. I'm going to call it. It's propaganda.
Able to make a makeshift hospital out of one of the prison containers. We used plastic rubbish bags.
Oh, so it was so bad, right? This is how bad it was. They were able to make a makeshift hospital. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Slings.
Wow.
Yeah, there was... People just jumped.
Do you know what, viewers? I don't even think the Muslim interviewer, the lady Muslim that's interviewing her, believes one word she's saying. They know what the Israelis are like.
Jumped into action.
There's 2 million fucking Muslims living in Israel, escaping what this woman's trying to rescue.
And I've never seen so much care and solidarity in something that was so atrocious.
Yeah.
And it felt like together we were really powerful, even though they wouldn't let us sleep and they waterboarded us and they tortured us and they sexually assaulted us.
There's no way in the world I can believe that. There's no way in the world, because they would be court-martialed. They'd be immediately court-martialed for doing that kind of thing. There'd be people in the IDF that'd dob them in. They're all dobbers and whatnot to keep up their moral standards. Oh, mate, this is gold. So where's she up to?
And they used tasers.
Yeah.
Tasers, that means these people were resisting big time.
Yeah, I just think that when love really is the thing that grounds you as a community.
Yeah.
Love's, it sounds like disordered behaviour to me, not love. Viewers, we'll go across to our other interview for a minute. We've got a couple of minutes left in this session. Let me just get this going.
Juliet, I apologise for being intrusive here, but when you say that you were sexually assaulted, it's important this. What exactly did they do?
So they wrenched my trousers and my underwear down, and it felt like that it was inserted with a hand. It wasn't a gun. I found out later that other people had guns inserted inside them. I don't think that it was a penis, but there was so much going on. But I was vaginally raped by one of the male soldiers. As I was, you basically, your head's down, they're putting you in a stress position, so your head's down and your sort of posterior is very sort of available to be, dealt with, and your hands are behind your back and your ankles are shackled. So, yeah, it's...
Viewers, you know what? She can't turn back from... she can't turn back from these allegations. I mean, she's put these allegations out before the world. Pirate ships, prison ships, torture chambers, rape, attempted drowning.
While you're being sort of jostled, hit, sworn at in the dark. I mean, it's a really discombobulating, horrific experience. Then a door was opened and I was thrown out into an open kind of area where I could see probably maybe about 60 people on the deck of that boat. And my daughter, Isla, who was 25, ran up to me. My mouth was bleeding. They'd punched me in the face. And, yeah, I was just sort of surrounded by love. And I was just really, it was really nice to see that my daughter was all right. And we talked about, how much violence and barbarity she had endured. And then, before you've even sort of worked out where you are, what's going to go on, what the level of threat is, you hear these howls of torture and pain happening in the place that you've just been thrown out of. And that goes on and on and on and on with each person. And some of them are like the most horrific ones, some are quicker than others, and people are getting sort of spat out of this horror container with broken ribs. People were tasered in the face.
Guys, this is so far-fetched. It's just not believable.
That will win. There's not a bullet that can, that can diminish that.
Yeah.
There just isn't.
You've spoken publicly about being beaten and sexually assaulted by Israeli men in that container. I want to give you a space to share your experience, and what do you want people to understand about what happened to you?
It felt like, so when I was dragged onto the prison boat and cable tied behind my back and shackled on my ankles and pushed down, they said my name and they didn't say anyone else's name that was on my boat. So, yeah, I really had the fear immediately that they knew who I was and that the punishment might be escalated because I'd be punished for daring to come back a second time.
No, for defying and being stupid enough to go back for a second time.
They used water as means of torture. So when I was on I was lying down, my hands were behind my back, and I couldn't move my legs, and different bodies are sort of getting sardined and slammed onto you. They started to put a lot of water under my face, and every time I tried to get away from it, I'd get slapped.
Viewers, I'll see you in the next episode.